been doing push-ups. I've been doing sit-ups. I've been doing chin-ups. I've been doing pull-ups. I threw up once, but I'm okay now.
And welcome into a Wednesday edition of the Ysn Power Hour. DJ Oakley. Whoa, Scotty. I'm hitting the microphone. That's a big no-no because that makes people at home very angry. DJ Oakley here. Scotty Minter on the other side of the table. And Scotty, before we get things started, you had a question that we were getting ready to come on the air and you couldn't help yourself. What was that question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, like, how do you come up with the logos for the intro? Like the one with the kid like pulling off his helmet. I think.
Oh, that's just what is that? Stock footage. We're subscribed to some stock footage, and I just go in and get it. I would love to have footage of like actual players from the area. Just tough whenever we're trying to change it on a dime. But yeah, that's all it is. Stock footage. So someone somewhere is going to be featured on YSN, and we have no idea who that person is. So
okay, cool. It might seem like a silly question, but I really don't know how it works. So
no, I appreciate that.
That's interesting.
And you literally asked that 3 seconds before we hit the red light.
Yeah.
So I felt bad shushing you, but I like did get on the show and then we'll address it.
Yeah.
But 5-figure Death Punch t-shirt, I dig it. I love it.
I wanted to, you look good, you feel good. So I'm like, today I got to come in with a lot of energy.
You can bring it.
5-finger Death Punch is heavy, so I'm like, 5-finger Death Punch it is.
Best song?
I like the Bleeding.
Okay.
By 5-finger Death.
I love their cover of Bad Company. Love it.
It's really good. You know what else is really good for a slower song? It's 5-finger Death Punch, and it's Far From Home. The song Far From Home. It's a slow jam.
You dig slow jams. You're like a slow jam connoisseur.
Yeah.
You sing them, you listen to them, you love them.
I do. You were playing the Top Gun theme last week. That was getting me jacked.
Little Joe Satriani. Love it. Have you seen Top Gun yet?
No, I haven't, but I love Jennifer Connelly, and I've heard nothing but great things about the movie, so I'm gonna have to see it.
I got about 10 minutes into a bootleg copy of it, and then it shut off. So they got me. Whoever you are out there, big brother, you got me. I was watching Top Gun bootleg style. It was for Goose. I was doing it for Goose. You know what we got to do right now on this day in sports history? You ready?
Ready.
Let's hit it. So on this day in sports history, we're going to keep it close to home. In 2003, LPGA Championship Women's Golf, the DuPont Classic, Sweden's Annika Sorenstam wins in a playoff over Grace Park of South Korea with a par on the first sudden death hole. Scotty, why is it so important that we're pointing out Annika Sorenstam at this point? Any idea? Any thoughts?
Maybe. Well, we had Brian Tonar.
We did have Brian Tonar
today on Running Point, and we have a golf outing coming up.
Yep. You guys have a golf outing coming up.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's the tie-in. Annika Sorenstam, one of the best female golfers of all time, is married to a guy from East Palestine, Mike McGee.
Wow.
And Mike's mom, Mrs. McGee, Jill McGee, was my teacher for a few years in high school. And his dad, the late Jerry McGee, was, of course, a golf legend as well. So notice that I put the teacher before the legendary Jerry McGee. I want that to be known. As great of a guy and as great of a golfer as Jerry McGee was, Jill McGee is the legend. She is the one who is teaching up East Palestine's finest. And I think she's retired now. But now Mike, her son, is married to Annika Sorenstam. And they have kids.
Is he a good golfer too?
I would imagine he's good. Like he was I want to say that he was either an agent or along something along those lines. He that's how they kind of met, was through the game of golf, obviously. And when you're Jerry McGee's son and you've got a little bit of swagger and you're doing well for yourself by yourself on your own, obviously a good looking guy too. I'm not afraid to say it. He's outkicked his coverage from people in East Palestine. I'm not ashamed to say it. We're not always the best and brightest of the bunch, but congratulations again on this day in sports history. Annika Sorenstam wins.
Something to be proud of.
I love it. I mean, listen, there's a lot to be proud of as far as East Palestine history, and we're trying to create that every day here at YSN. Just another day in the shovel, the toolbox, and we're trying to shovel it out for you, Scotty. And we got a great show for you today here on the Power Hour. Obviously, Scotty's here. We're going to talk a little bit of this Brown stuff, which is Browns on Browns on Browns. But we're also going to welcome in at 3:30 Dylan Dominguez, who you know him, you love him. He is the South Range Raider, now a Youngstown State Penguin. We'll be talking to him about his baseball career. He's going to obviously be a Penguin here shortly, if not already. I know he's already out there. And then he's going to be playing in the Penn Ohio game coming up in a couple weeks in Geneva, which we will have the broadcast of. So you'll get to see Dylan Dominguez one more time on the gridiron as a high schooler before he makes that complete transition into Division I. So exciting show for us today. Scotty, lead us off with what we are going to discuss. And I got a feeling it has to do with a guy who could be, maybe, your quarterback someday.
Yeah, that's the key word, right? Could be the quarterback. And yeah, that's what we're going to lead off with, DJ, because it just seems like every day now for the last 2 weeks, more news comes out about this whole Deshaun Watson and the Browns, the ongoing civil situation with Watson. And I gotta say, DJ, we were talking about it a little bit off the air today, and I just from the beginning, I really don't understand why Deshaun Watson didn't settle these cases a while ago. I think it was a bad move by him and his attorney to fight this. The point I was making to you earlier, I get that if you really believe you're innocent and you haven't done anything wrong, it's hard to, bite that bullet and say, all basically and make you by settling, because that's what it signals. But my whole takeaway from it is, even if he wins every one of these cases, which I'm not so sure he's going to, there's still going to be people out there that say he's a scumbag and, he did, horrible things, inappropriate things. So I just don't understand. And then you had his attorney on a show talking about everyone gets happy endings and a happy ending isn't a crime. And I'm like, what is going on here? And I hate to look at it from just a pure football lens because it's layered. It's heavy. But just looking at it as a football fan, I think Watson, I don't know. To me, this whole thing, nothing good is going to come away from this now. And what people really haven't talked about is the PR part of it. No matter what the NFL does now, like there's going to be people, some, diehard Browns fans with rose-colored glasses that say the NFL's punishment was, too harsh because he wasn't criminally charged, and then there's going to be people that say, it was too lenient. They didn't throw the hammer down. So, this is just a disaster. And I'm starting to really wonder, DJ. I want to let you have a voice and not take up the whole show here. But I'm starting to really wonder, did Brown general manager Andrew Berry, did he initially object to making this move? And then Jimmy Haslam said, we're making this move because I want to win no matter what. Because I look at Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski. They have Ivy League educations. They had to know how bad this was going to get. I have a feeling that Haslam, the owner, might have vetoed them if they did object. But my head's just spinning right now. But I know, part of you got to be... I know today you were like, man, I'm glad the Steelers didn't pull the trigger on this whole Deshaun Watson thing.
We went through 18 years of it with Ben. And, from our standpoint, to just also to let you know about the whole Ivy League education thing. And I'm not knocking anybody who is going to get an Ivy League education or becomes a doctor. But the old saying is, and your dad can probably attest to this. The lowest ranking person in a doctorate class is called after they graduate?
What's that?
Doctor. The same as the highest ranking person. So to have an Ivy League education doesn't necessarily mean that you're the smartest person in the room always, okay? So when you're talking about those guys, and I'm not saying they're dumb, but what I'm kind of inferring is that Stefanski had a huge first year, and you were one of the biggest song and dance praisers of Kevin Stefanski.
I drank the Kool-Aid.
You chugged the Kool-Aid. Like you got seconds and thirds of the Kool-Aid. And what happened? He was exposed. And no matter which way you look at it, with Baker Mayfield, he exposed his quarterback to just leave him out there. If I'm any quarterback or if I'm any player on that team or if I'm any fan that sees that happen and that when Kevin Stefanski's not happy with you or you're not his guy, he's going to leave you out there and basically cost the team a playoff berth on multiple occasions. But also, look what the cat dragged in at this point, because you've got Deshaun Watson, who you gave up 3 years worth of draft picks for to be your future, your franchise quarterback, and now you don't even know if he's going to play for a year, maybe 2 years, whatever it may be. And there's a lot of people out there trying to play the guessing game of, is this guy going to play? And when is he going to play? And there's nothing like this that is comparable to anything that's come before it. People are saying, oh, look at Roethlisberger, look at this, look at that. There are
apples and oranges.
There are 24, as it stands right now on June 8th, there are 24 accusations out there, accusers of basically the same thing. And the New York Post, I believe, either the Times or the Post, I can't remember, so I apologize, bad sourcing, came out and said that in the course of 17 months, he had 66 massage appointments. And the majority of them have already been talked to or have been spoken to about the possibility of this happening. What happens if those goes to 48? What happens if this goes to 66? I have a hard time believing, and this is my personal opinion, so I apologize. This isn't based on not being a Browns fan. I have a hard time believing that 24 people, 24 women are just gold digging at this point. And there's no truth to any of what they're saying.
You wouldn't think that was the case. I mean, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Typically.
Right? Yeah.
Typically. And what he's done, and obviously this is still a Chris Sigler says the Browns are the gift that keeps on giving all year long. What's been borderline comical to me are the people that have already written off Baker Mayfield, have absolutely pushed him, like burned his jerseys, thrown away his jerseys, put them on eBay, seeing if they can get a couple bucks for them. I'm gonna lie to you. I'm on Pristine Auction every day trying to find a Baker Mayfield helmet that they're just going to do away with for $20-$30 that's autographed, because I still think the guy's got talent. And even if he doesn't, it makes a nice memory piece of what the Steelers did with the franchise quarterback, other than the one playoff game that the Browns have seen in the last 20 years. And hearing about that, I think that script has been written and torn up by this point. Because let's think about this, Scotty. If Deshaun Watson doesn't play this year or is suspended for any length of time, where do the Browns go? Where do they go for a quarterback? Because they're still on the hook for Baker Mayfield for $19 million. And he's not – I can't imagine he's going to report to camp.
No, there was a report out early today that on a mutual call, they said that Baker will not report. So I don't think the Browns they're not going to find him anything, but it was mutual that he doesn't show up.
It's probably a good idea for the Browns, because imagine the circus that if Baker Mayfield shows up, Deshaun Watson still hasn't been penalized. There's nothing out there keeping him from going to OTAs, nothing keeping him from going and being part of the team and the activities and things that you bring Baker Mayfield back and he is scorned. And that letter that he wrote to Cleveland, I got to think, man, it's got to be a tough decision for him, because what if he comes back and he is the prodigal son once again? The prodigal son returns. Somehow he builds this into a winning season. Maybe they take the North out. I mean, they've done it before, from a standpoint of getting into the playoffs. Why can't they do it again with better players, I think, and some of the same cast and crew that they've had around them? What happens then to Watson?
I mean, no matter what, they would have to when Watson's deemed eligible. I mean, assuming he's not banned for life or
he's not getting banned for life. There's no way
that extreme. Like you have to go to him, right? They gave him too much money. I mean, he gets what after this year isn't it like $46 million?
But you're talking about this year. The same quarterback is going to be your fourth string quarterback, not even get a helmet, for almost $20 million a year. While Deshaun Watson, if he plays, I think gets $1 million. So you look at that and you're paying a guy. Why wouldn't you trot him out there?
Yeah, from just the football, like on-field perspective, it definitely makes the most sense. I mean, people that think, and there are a few Browns fans out there. I know there's a few fans because they've told me that they think Jacoby Brissett is good enough to lead us to the playoffs. I don't think he's a awful backup, but he's been a backup for a reason. Baker definitely has a better track record. He has a win in the playoffs. His quarterback rating the late in the 2020 season was he was in the for like a 3-week period. He had like about a top 3 quarterback rating. So that guy, it wasn't that long ago he was playing really well. And I'm not using this as an excuse.
This sounds like you're back on the wagon.
But he was injured last year.
Oh, here we go.
They kept bringing. No, I'm saying if you want to make the case for Baker, it's definitely stronger than Jacoby Brissett. That's all I'm saying, DJs.
Amo is saying, I have no idea what to think. Houston Texans beat reporter says the Browns knew about everything that has come out in the past couple of days, still paid him and traded for him. Really weird to him. See, at this point, the Browns are in a tough position. Cleveland as a whole is in a tough position because you look at this, and if the Browns say that they didn't know about this, they look like fools. They look like they didn't do their due diligence. They look like, but if you say you knew about all this and the guy gets suspended for a year or 2 years and you got to pay him $46 million next year, guaranteed money, then how do you look? You look like idiots. So you look like an idiot any way you look at this point. And I thought Dave had a good response this morning by saying, why did we get involved in this? Like we could just be watching like the rest of America, but the Browns have to dip their hands in it.
Well, in Jimmy Haslam, in certain ways, he doesn't have the he doesn't have the track record as far as winning that an owner like Jerry Jones had in the 90s. But as far as, being a guy that wants to win at pretty much all costs, he's kind of like Jerry Jones in that way. Like, he'll make really bold moves because he wants to win.
And he wants the publicity.
But it's just not, it doesn't, just because you want to win and you want to be an NFL owner and you care about the team you own, it doesn't mean that you're going to win.
I want to be able to dunk. But I can't do it. It's not going to happen for me unless I got a trampoline, Scotty. So sometimes you just got to understand what you have, go all in on your strengths, and realize that you're just never going to be that team. Like it's obvious, painfully obvious as a Browns fan, as I'm sure you're aware, he wants to be Jerry Jones. But what has Jerry Jones done since 1995?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
The Cowboys are like pretty much one of the punchlines. They haven't been a big punchline as the Browns now, but they're still like, people find ways to make fun of the Cowboys every single. They haven't been relevant since 95.
And you look at that, and as much as Jerry Jones is the owner, and the owner, I mean, you can go back to the Chicago Bulls and talk about the players versus the owners. But to me, that was more of the players and Jimmy Johnson than it was anything to do with Jerry Jones, because he had zero success up until those three, the triplets, came onto the scene, and adding Jimmy Johnson to the heart of that group, that was it. He was the one bringing the championships in, and how about them Cowboys? And it's just, for me, it's an interesting topic of conversation for many things, many reasons. To spin it back locally, as Dylan Dominguez is going to join us here in about 5 minutes or so. It's the Browns are in a really, really delicate position right now because nobody knows what's going to happen. And you're in OTAs now. And the NFL could come out and say he's done for 32 games.
Well, let's just say, DJ, I started thinking about this. Let's say they say he's done a year. So this whole coming year is wiped out. He can't play. And let's say the Browns are respectable, but they don't make the playoffs or win the division, because everybody knows it will be an uphill battle with Jacoby Brissett as your starting quarterback. If Watson doesn't play a whole year, do you automatically already see that, from a Steelers fan perspective, taking bias out of it, do you see the trade as a failure if he doesn't play the whole year? Because there's people, when I brought it up to other Browns fans, they say, well, we didn't get Deshaun Watson for 1 year. We got him for the next 5. And, that's what it's about. It's not about 1 year. But I'm looking at this roster. If he doesn't play a whole year, that's another year Nick Chubb's older. Another year, a lot of these stars that the Browns have. And again, we talk about them being the paper champions because that's all they've been the last 4 years. To me, it almost is a failure if he doesn't play a whole year, even if he comes back in the second year of his deal. But what do you think? Is it a failure to you?
I don't think it's a failure. I think what it is the Browns have to understand they have windows. Like, as a Pirates fan, they always talk about windows of opportunity with Kutch, with Walker, with Josh Bell, with all these guys that the Pirates had windows. And I think the Browns have to understand, especially where they're at, they've got a window of opportunity. Now, if they lose the first year, okay. Like, it's not a huge loss to them. It's kind of a throwaway year anyway, the transition year, bridge year, as the Steelers are preparing for a bridge year, getting their quarterback. And
again, I won't go. I know we're running short on time, but that would be almost, if all of this year is wiped out, it's gonna be almost 4 years without him getting action, and that's just absurd to me.
That's the bigger number. Amos says that if he doesn't play in 17 games, it's a failure. What you gave up to give him, it's a failure. And Sigler says he better play ASAP. They have given up a ton of future draft capital in order to bring him in. And that's the thing. Like, when you look at what they gave up to get him, that's where you have to look at. You gave up 3 years of draft picks. So these are 3 optimal years of draft picks that you're giving up for a quarterback who is only going to be on essentially a 4-year contract. So now you're paying $250 million or whatever that number is for 4 years, not for 5.
And I just, not to get, again, too off the rails, but I don't understand. Like, people could say, maybe he was born with a problem, but I'm sick of giving people the benefit of what do you need 66 massage therapists for? Like, you can't pick one. It's like, what is this? This world is
messed up,
nuts, man.
It's messed up. It sure is. Someone who's going to help us navigate this world coming up after the break is Dylan Dominguez, South Range's very own, South Range alum Dylan Dominguez now, who is in Youngstown State. He is I think he's enrolled. We'll talk to him about that when we come back on the YSN Power Hour. Scotty, say bye.
Bye. It was a great day. Not so great for my Browns, but everybody go out, enjoy the sunshine. Tell someone you love them. I'm out.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
Jimmy Sudman here, director of Isle, Purple Cat, and Golden String. We are happy to support YSN and 2 of my favorite people, Scotty Mincher and Super Dave O'Malley. We are an agency that provides services for adults with disabilities. We infuse humor, passion, and joy into their lives. If you know of any folks with disabilities that need our assistance, please contact us.
How lucky are we to have not 1, but 2 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring PGA professionals, golf instruction, a players rewards club, kids programs, and a pro shop and grill room for a memorable golf experience. call or click to schedule your tee time at Mill Creek Golf Course.
At Greenwood Chevrolet, we offer a worry-free experience for all our customers.
From sales to financing and even service,
We'll help build your perfect vehicle.
and lock in your trade value.
while your vehicle is being built.
No worries.
We guarantee financing.
Regardless of your situation or credit history.
No worries. And when your vehicle needs service,
Our award-winning team will get you back on the road.
No worries.
That's what going the extra mile means. Only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Now is the time to think about your future, where you want to go, what you want to be. Your future can start now at Kent State Salem or Kent State East Liverpool. We have programs that will open doors and provide opportunities for you to pursue your passion. We are affordable, we are close. You call it hometown, we call it Kent State University. Learn more at www.kent.edu/Columbiana. You belong here. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ysn Power Hour. Appreciation, as always, goes out to Scotty Mincher. But as of right now, brought to you by our friends over at Youngstown State University, we bring in one of the young men who I have followed in this great company at South Range since the time he was an 8th grader, still probably taller than me at that point. We bring in Mr. Dylan Dominguez at this point. And Dill, when you think about how your career started at South Range and how it ended, you just were all pedal, all gas, no brakes since the moment you started. Talk to me about, having not only an idea of what to expect going into high school athletics and varsity athletics, but how fast it went for you. It feels like a blink of an eye, dude.
Yeah. Well, first I want to say thanks for having me on the show. This is great. But yeah, it really flew by. It was a lot of fun. People always say fun times, they always fly by. So yeah.
Do you remember anything in your freshman year? Like, do you remember just moments of freshman year, whether it be football or baseball or anything like that?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, in school and hang out with my friends. Yeah, I remember a lot through 4 years.
Now you've got an older brother, Ethan, who, stud. He stud through high school and kind of led by example for you. How much did you lean on his knowledge and know-how of going through baseball and football the way he did, and you kind of emulated that, but you weren't in the shadow. You created your own sunshine, man.
Yeah, I think a lot of people might overlook that aspect, that having an older brother to come through and pave the way for you, and see what to do and what not to do, and it definitely helped me a lot to almost like get a head start as to where some other people might not have had an older brother go through that. So yeah, it was very beneficial.
Were there any pieces of advice that he gave you or in the early going, whether it be high school or even now as you make the transition into college athletics as part of the YSU football team? Is there anything that he's given you that you've really been like, okay, I'm going to remember this for every time I step on the field or every day when I wake up?
Yeah, he would tell me, enjoy it while it lasts, it goes so fast. And I would hear that from everybody, but I feel like you never really do until the moments pass. It's like I would say that to my little brother now, but they just never really going to understand until they're out of it, But that's what my brother would tell me. Yeah.
It's one of those things where they talk about, you don't realize you're in the good old days until you're past them, right?
Exactly.
From our standpoint, being able to watch you just become an absolute stud on the field, on the diamond, in the classroom, getting it done. Obviously it's hard to pick between football and baseball because it's apples and oranges, right? But you learned something from each of them, I think, and you were excelled on the baseball field. You excelled on the football field, obviously, playing at the next level. What kind of things do you take away and try to give to your little brother about, hey, you got to make sure that you keep up on X, Y, and Z? Like, are you giving him the same advice that Ethan gave to you, or are you giving him different tips?
Definitely, like what I've learned and what I'm trying to show to my younger brother is like, you can outwork anybody, You know, there's 24 hours in a day, and how many hours are you going to waste? And that's just one of the biggest things I've learned, and I'm going to use this throughout my whole life, is that, you know, hard work really does pay off. And that's what I'm trying to show to him, you know.
I think one of the coolest things about you, man, is I was talking to your dad before. You don't do a whole lot of interviews, and you know, being able to kind of lock you down and, you know, ask you to be part of it, and with all the accolades that you get, there's people that are seeking you and seeking your attention and seeking your every word each and every time you take that field, and when you step off of that field, and you know, in the paper, on TV, you know, with YSN. What is it about you just want your work to speak for you, as opposed to jumping on these and talking about it, that you really have adopted? And you know, what's the timing now like that you decided, hey, I'm going to come and talk to DJ for a little bit and shoot the breeze?
I don't know. I think honestly, I'm just a shy person, you know, kind of introverted, keep to myself a lot. But I mean, when you texted me, I was like, you know, I got to do this for DJ. You know, I love the YSN, everything about it. So, yeah. My
guy. All right. Let's get back to the X's and O's. I know you're very comfortable with that. Dude, you were just given the accolade of OHS BCA, you know, first team, you know, and everything that goes with that. And you were a second team NE8, which I'm still trying to figure out kind of how that works, but we'll step aside on that. The honors that you have achieved through football and baseball. Talk to me about, you know, how does that build your confidence? And I know you're not out to get them, but they come to you because you work so hard, and because I'm going to say it, because you won't, you're the ultimate teammate. You always give everybody else the praise before you ever take it upon your own shoulders. Do they mean anything to you, or is it one of those things where it's just part of the job?
I really try not to pay too much mind to them, because, you know, if I'm sitting here and, you know, oh, I got this, then I feel like it might just hinder my hard work that I still need to put in, because it's, you know, the job's not done. And yeah, I really don't pay that much mind to it.
So if I'm getting this correctly, even though you graduated high school, you still have that chip on your shoulder that it's everybody versus Dylan Dominguez. And I love that about you, because I have that same chip, and I'm still taking bites of it every chance I can, even with the success that you've gained through accolades, through championships, through all of that throughout your life, not just in high school, but you're talking Pee Wee football, Little League baseball, all that stuff. What is it that drives you? What is it that keeps you going, that you still have that? You know, you run angry when you have the football in your hands, and I'm guessing you're playing defensive side of the football, right?
Yeah, safety.
Yeah. So what is it that, I mean, you play angry, dude, and what is it that keeps that chip on your shoulder throughout everything that you do when you cross over those lines?
I feel like every time I'm on the field, I'm trying to prove myself that, you know, I put in this work. I want to prove to everybody that obviously it was worth it, and that, you know, and yeah, you were saying why I still have the chip on my shoulder like that. And I think it's just especially true now, since I'm going to be in college, because I mean, the competition level is so much higher now than it was in high school. So yeah.
I think one of the coolest things when we talk, like off the record, it's the fact that you feel like you got it, you know, even though you're a D1 athlete now, you feel like you still have something to prove, and you're not done. And to your point, you haven't even started to scratch the surface on what you're capable of. Do you take like that, you know, again, you against the world, or, you know, you're going to be joined by some of the best in our area, you know, Bo Brungard, who you guys have been friends for a long time, could be in the same defensive backfield, you know, depending on what happens to him. And you guys will be on the same team in a couple weeks here at the Penn Ohio game. Do you still have a little bit left to prove at the high school level with trying to take one away from the Keystone State?
At this point, I think I'm kind of over that. You know, I love Bo. He's a great teammate. You know, he's always nice to everybody that he comes across, and I think I'm past that. I'm just trying to, come buddies with him, and I ain't got nothing left to prove.
So let's talk about the competition of the Penn Ohio game, because I talked to Coach Guerrero. First off, he loves having you as part of his team. He cannot speak highly enough about having you there, and he's excited to get things started on Monday at practice. But talk to me about, as a competitive person, as a guy that ultimately it's win or lose, it's black and white. There's no gray. There's no pats on the back if you lose. Are you taking this game as seriously as Coach Guerrero is, and he wants to really lay it to the state of Pennsylvania and bring it back to Ohio?
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely want to do good for myself, but then also get that dub for Ohio. Yeah.
How much of an honor is it to be part of this game? So many big names have been part of the Penn Ohio game and the Quad County, whatever you want to call it, have come through and worn jerseys that you're going to wear on the Thursday night. And for you, it's got to be a chance to kind of look, because I know you respect the game and are a student of the game as much as you are a player of that particular game. What does it mean for you to be able to suit up in those Ohio uniforms and represent the Buckeye State when it's the only game in town?
Oh yeah. When I got the call from Coach Guerrero to asking me if I would like to play, the first thing I did was, check my schedule and see if it was okay with YSU, if I could play there, because, I really do appreciate that. And it's just an honor that I get to play there, playing that game.
So let's talk real quickly about the baseball side of things, since, baseball season just wrapped up. So
yeah.
Your freshman year you played, you were all NE8, and then COVID happened, and that sucked. We all know that. And then the next year you decided you're going to take the year off and focus up on some other stuff. And then you come back your senior year. And what people don't realize is how difficult that is. What went into that decision of you coming back and stepping back onto the baseball diamond? And talk to me about, from your standpoint, grade yourself out as would you go back and tell yourself to play your junior year, or are you happy with the decision you made to focus on things your junior year and then come back your senior year?
Yeah, I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear me say this, but I think the reason I came back my senior year was because I was just itching to play some baseball. I kind of missed it, and looking back on it, I don't think I would regret it, because, I did have a lot of good experience running track, and I definitely learned some key things with Coach Rock and all my buddies running with me, and like learning how to do all these sprints. But yeah, that was the main reason I came back, because I was missing it, and all my buddies were playing too. So
it didn't have anything to do with your brother being a freshman, probably.
And that, yeah, it would be the last time I get to play with him for sure.
You guys, the Dominguez family, means so much to me personally, and certainly have been supporters of YSN. That's why you're here right now, literally, because you think you owe me a favor, and you really don't, because you guys have been so supportive. Talk about your family. Your dad is one of the greatest people, one of my mentors. Your mom is such a great person, such a great heart for kids, not even the ones that just go to South Range, but kids everywhere. Talk about your family and how much they mean to you. I know that you're a family guy first and foremost. Talk about them and give them the props they deserve.
Yeah, my mother, she's the hardest working person I know. She'll go to work all day, and I probably said this before, but then she just comes home and she starts making us dinner, doing dishes, cleaning around the house. The only time I see her not, getting something done is when she's like completely sick and out of it, or that's pretty much it, because she's always doing something. And my father, just like the sports knowledge that he has, that he's been able to show me and my brothers and my sister, it really put us ahead of the game, and I'm thankful. I'm very thankful for being raised by them, to be raised by them. Yeah.
Okay, so there's got to be some other mentors and people that you're very fortunate to have in your life and have been supportive. Who are some of those people, and why are they so important to you?
Um, Definitely a lot of players that I played with, like Jake Gehring, just a great role model. You know, he's going to Ohio State and pitching there. Really a great role model, always doing the right things. And I would say Shane Lindstrom, such a hard worker. You know, whenever I'm not feeling to do a workout, he's always telling me, you know, push past it, you know, start work out with me, all that. Coaches, obviously, Coach Yeagley, coach all the football coaches, baseball coaches, wrestling coaches, Dave Markulin, you know, um, they're all just such hardworking people that it's hard work not to rub off on you, you know, especially this area of parents and everything. Just the whole South Range community, honestly, it's a great community to be a part of.
Dude, people don't realize that your house was like the place to be before every football game. How cool was it to have that? I mean, in most places, it's like, all right, come through, get a sandwich, and like go. You guys would watch the Power Hour every Friday. You would get ready. You'd have your pregame meal. You'd celebrate whenever people were picking, you know, the South Range Raiders to win that week.
Yeah.
You get pissed whenever they didn't, and use it as bulletin board material. To have this community and to be such an integral part of it. And I know this senior class means so much to you because you guys have been like brothers all the way up. To know that that ride is over and you're on a new ride now, what was it like? And has it hit you yet that kind of your high school career is complete and you left a legacy there?
Honestly, I still feel like it hasn't hit me. But it's just crazy that I spent so much time with all these guys, you know, since I was in freaking kindergarten, playing little football, baseball, everything with them. It was just such a great experience, and I will miss it forever.
All right, now you're in college. What are you going to study? And you know, I think you're in your dorm right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I am.
All right, so you're there early. You know, you guys will be training to be Penguins here and earn your Y. So, what are you studying, and when do the classes start for you, or have they already?
I'm studying kinesiology and exercise science, and I think, well, we already have like one summer class right now for football. It's nothing much, and then I'm not too sure when the classes start, but
well, that's something we should probably figure out here in the next couple of days or so. Will we be calling you Dr. Dominguez someday?
Dr. Dominguez? I mean, the exercise science, it's like to be a physical therapist and stuff like that. So I'm sure after I do that, then I could, but
is that something you want to do? You got that look on your face. Like, that's a whole lot of school.
I was thinking about it. I would honestly, I wouldn't mind it because I'm not too sure about kinesiology and exercise science because I don't know. I mean, physical therapist kind of seems like it wouldn't be my thing, but I definitely want to do something like sports related, you know, and like helping kids out, like with maybe like 3 injuries. I don't know, doctor. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
You got a spot in the booth anytime you want it. If you're anything like your old man, it's always a good time to have a Dominguez in the booth in the color spot. So, dude, I can't thank you enough. We're so proud of you. Continued success. We'll be watching both from near and afar. You know, during YSU season, we've got one more time to watch you on the gridiron and broadcast your game. Looking forward to catching up with you after the game and during that week of Penn, Ohio, man. But again, thanks for spending so much time with us today. It's an honor. It's a pleasure. And I couldn't be happier for you. Nobody deserves it more than you do, man.
Thank you. Seriously. Thanks for having me on here.
You got it, brother. Anytime. Open invitation for you. So there he goes. Dylan Dominguez, one of my favorites. Again, I can't speak highly enough about Dylan. When I think that I've got a good work ethic, I look to a guy like Dylan Dominguez, and who is an all-state, you know, selection in football, and now an all-state selection with the OHS BCA, which I was in the NEO BCA whenever that. I don't know if it's still around or they changed it to the OHS BCA, but I was on that team as well. So it's an honor. Anytime that your name comes up next to a guy like Dylan Dominguez, it's always, and I mean always, an honor to share it, because that kid, he works harder than anybody I know, just unbelievably hard. And I wasn't blowing smoke. Coach Guerrero is amped up to have 34 in the backfield, whichever side it is, on the Ohio side. And we should be fortunate to be able to watch that game and see Dylan Dominguez and Bo Brungard and some of the great names that we're going to see for Team Ohio here in just a few weeks on YSN. So thanks again to Dylan Dominguez for stopping by. Again, the top-notch kid ever. I remember him as an 8th grader, and he had the same look to him, the same confidence, the same swagger. And I couldn't be more proud of him. The day that he signed with YSU, your heart gets warm sometimes for kids that work hard and deserve it. And knowing that Dylan is just scratching the surface, like he's going to be an everyday name wherever he ends up on that lineup. So happy for him, happy for his family, excited to watch him grow more than he already has. And just remember, you knew him when here on YSN. We're going to get to the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark here? And then we'll let you go along your merry way and along your merry day here after Power Hour. We got plenty of games for you tonight. I will be in Niles at Eastwood Field for the All-Star Classic that pits Mahoning versus Trumbull. We'll have that game for you. Richie, I know, has a doubleheader at Scene Park. We've got games at BCB. We've got more games at Scene Park as well. So YSN, as always, is the nonstop, one-stop shop for you to catch all the local sports here in the Valley. But you know what we also have to do? We got to make sure we hit that spark. It is the Joe Dickey Electric. What's your spark? Presented by our friends in North Lima at Joe Dickey Electric. Visit them at their campus, on their campus in North Lima, or just go to DickeyElectric.com. Anything commercial, anything residential, anything electrical, visit my guys and gals over at Joe Dickey Electric. Thank you very much. Tell them why I sent you. I think Eric usually knows. I mean, again, you talk about supporters, another great part of that South Range community, Eric Carlson. Thank you very much for your love and support of YSN. So I am super excited. My positive spark is that I got my official invite to go to Goods Raceway on Saturday. And if you don't know what Goods Raceway is, it's the show we have every Sunday in the driver's seat with Corey Renforth. Corey gave me the okay, the thumbs up, and we are going to take Goods Raceway by storm on Saturday. I'm going to go check out my first dirt race. I'm really excited for it. Weather looks good. And, to be able to see some of these racers go and these drivers go that I've seen them, I've had them here. We've talked to them, but to see what they do best and have me be out of my element a little bit and ask a bunch of questions for a guy that doesn't know a whole lot about cars or racing is going to be exciting. So excited to have that opportunity. A big thank you to the Bandit, Corey Renforth, for the invitation. And we're going to talk a lot, and hopefully we'll have some added information for you coming up on Sunday morning on In the Driver's Seat on YSN. So that's my spark for today. Again, tons of games going on tonight. I got to get out to one right now, I'm buying myself an extra 5 minutes. So appreciate you always tuning in here to YSN, whether it be Running Point, Casual Sports Podcast, Power Hour, or any and all of the above, plus our games on a regularly scheduled basis. We thank you so much. We thank you. And we can't thank you enough for always and continually showing up and representing the viewership that we have. I mean, we're on track for our highest viewership ever in a year, and that includes COVID. So we thank you so much, and we just continue to hope you'll ask us to keep pushing the envelope as we always do. So that's going to do it for this Wednesday edition. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Power Hour, 3 to 4, each and every day, right here on your sports network. Thanks again. We'll talk to you tomorrow on YSN. Peace be with you. YSN